Picture this. You're the guy who's always had it locked down. Career on rails, schedule airtight, heart neatly filed away where it can't cause trouble. Then you touch down in Lagos for what's supposed to be a quick business trip. And one woman, one quiet smile while she hands you breakfast, unravels the whole thing without even trying. She didn't chase, didn't flirt hard. She just was, so completely herself that I started wondering why I'd spent years building a life that left no room for moments like this. 4 days later, I'm on a plane back to New York, staring at clouds over the Atlantic, feeling this strange draft in my chest where everything used to feel sealed shut. This is the true story of how breakfast in room 412 changed me, and why her number is still in my phone, uncalled. If you've ever had a place or a person leave an open door you can't close, stay with me. Lagos doesn't let you leave the same.
I've never been a slow morning person. My days kick off with black coffee hitting like fuel and 3 problems already screaming before the sun's properly up. So that first knock at 6:45 found me mid-email, phone pressed to my ear, the Lagos humidity already making my shirt cling uncomfortably.
Room service?
I opened the door half distracted. Then the world narrowed to just her. She stood there with the cart, calm, steady, eyes that seemed to see straight past the tailored suit and the constant forward motion. Like she'd watched 100 men like me rush through this hotel and knew exactly how little space we leave for anything real. A faint warm scent came in with her, fresh coffee mixed with something spiced, maybe cinnamon drifting up from the kitchen below. I couldn't find words. Me, a man who closes multi-million deals without blinking, speechless from eye contact. Knew. She wheeled the cart in smoothly, set the tray with the kind of quiet efficiency that comes from 3 years owning room 412. She knew where the spare sugar packets lived in the drawer before I did. The single orchid on the tray was already perfect. She just gave it the tiniest adjustment anyway. I finally got out. "Do you always start this early?" "Yes." "Every single day?" "Yes." The silence sat for a beat. He's realizing he has nothing to say. She straightened the napkin, edges razor sharp, then looked up with that quick, kind glance. "You've got toothpaste on your shirt." Glance down, white streak on navy. Of course. She was already moving toward the door. "Oh, and sir, if you need anything else, just call room service." Warm, unhurried. I nodded like she'd handed me a revelation. The door clicked shut. Pause, then deliver this like a confession. I ordered room service 3 more times that day. I wasn't hungry. I just needed her to walk back through that door.
The next day, I told myself I'd go downstairs to the restaurant, put on shoes, act civilized. At 7:15, I ordered room service anyway. Practical choice. The restaurant required shoes. I wasn't ready for shoes. She arrived at 7:40. This time, I was fully put together, suit crisp, hair cooperating, armor intact. She uncovered the tray. Same eggs, same black coffee. "You got the same thing again," she observed, not judging, just noting. I like consistency. She gave that small, knowing smile. "You're in Lagos, Ethan. Lagos isn't built for consistency." She said my name. Must have seen it on the tray tag. Still landed differently. "I'm only here a few more days." That's what everyone says. She adjusted the orchid again. Then Lagos does what it does. Which is what? That smile widened just a fraction. "You'll see." She left with the cart. I sat at the table, looked at the eggs, looked at the closed door. For the first time in years, I didn't immediately open my laptop. Lagos light poured through the window, bright, insistent, and the city outside seemed to watch me back, quiet and sure of itself.
Board meeting wrapped by 11:30. Calendar suddenly empty. Assistant's text. "Ethan, I'm begging. Go outside." So I did. Down in the lobby, she was off duty, yellow top bright against the marble, hair loose, laughing at something on her phone. Same woman, but fully alive, no uniform holding her back. She looked up. "Mr. Cole, you look lost." "Just navigating." "To where?" A beat. "Anywhere that isn't this lobby." She glanced at my phone, Google Maps stubbornly pointing to a museum that closed years ago. "I've got 4 hours," she said, "and you clearly need a guide." "I don't." "Closed museum, Ethan." Fair point. I followed her out into the Lagos afternoon like a man who'd temporarily forgotten his own rules. First stop, a real market, not the polished tourist version. Narrow aisles and balagoon, colors everywhere, bright fabrics hanging in waves overhead, spice and frying oil thick in the air, vendors calling out in Yoruba and Pidgin, the whole place alive and moving. I walked like I was afraid to get dust on my shoes or wrinkle something important. "Relax," she said without looking back. I'm relaxed. "You're walking like the ground might send you an invoice." She stopped at a fabric seller, words flying warm and quick in Yoruba. The woman laughed, looked me over, said something that made Amara press her lips together to hide a grin. "What did she say?" "She said you look like a man who's never been uncomfortable, in a good way." Insult? In Lagos, it's a diagnosis. We ended up at plastic chairs around a wobbly table near the market's edge, chalkboard menu scrawled in chalk, the best suya spot she'd argue with anyone about. She ordered for me. I let her. The skewers arrived, grilled meat dusted heavy with yaji spice, onions and tomatoes sliced fresh, that deep, smoky char smell hitting immediately. One bite? My face reacted before my brain could catch up, spice blooming hot and alive across my tongue. This is... Stop myself, then almost betrayed by how much I love it. "Why don't they have this in New York?" "She tries," she said simply. "It's never the same." Nothing ever is, when you pull it out of where it belongs. The words landed heavier than I meant. We both felt it, looked down at the food, ate quietly while Legos hummed and pulsed around us. Horns, laughter, someone bargaining loudly 2 stalls away. She asked about New York. I gave the usual polished line. Then, "Do you like it there?"
I built my life there. That's not what I asked. I don't know anymore. She just listened. No fixing, no pity, just space. We walked on after. Side street with a colorful mural half hidden, a tiny bookshop behind a gate that looked shut but wasn't, a spot by the water where the late afternoon light turned the waves gold and everything softer. I asked real questions. Home, family, why stay? People are here, roots are here. Home is home. Quiet. This hits you. Quiet from me. I haven't thought of anywhere as home in a long time. She didn't push, just glanced at the sky. Traffic's about to get ugly. Let's head back. Lagos traffic isn't a glitch. It's the city's heartbeat. Full, unapologetic, alive. Our cab hadn't moved in 11 minutes. Outside the window, a woman balancing cold drinks on her head weaving between cars. 2 guys next to us debating football with wild gestures like the world depended on it. A kid waving happily at nothing in particular. Amara was mid-story, something about her cousin and a Danfo bus gone wrong. Then she trailed off. I looked over. Pause. She'd fallen asleep, head tilting slowly toward me, then a small pothole bump. Her head came to rest on my shoulder. Warm, steady breathing, the faint scent of coconut oil and something floral in her hair mixing with exhaust and street food smoke drifting through the cracked window. I froze completely, heart pounding like I'd never negotiated a single deal. I didn't move, didn't dare breathe wrong. Phone buzzed in my pocket, urgent. I silenced it with one careful finger, set it face down on my knee. It could wait. Soft, wondering. 19 minutes passed. I felt every single one. the way time used to feel when I was a kid, before calendars ruled everything. She stirred when the cab finally jerked forward, lifted her head, half asleep, completely unbothered. Sorry, Legos does that to people. She stepped out. I sat a second longer after the door closed. Pause. Then I got out too. Stood outside the hotel with Legos roaring around me, missed calls stacking up, emails waiting, a report unfinished. I couldn't remember what I was supposed to want anymore.
Next morning, breakfast again. Same order. She set it up quietly. No comment on the repeat. She moved toward the door. "Can I ask you something?" She stopped, turned in the doorway. "Do you ever want to leave? See other places?" "I've thought about it, but wanting to visit somewhere and needing to leave are two different things." "Why do you ask?" "I left home young, thought it would feel like freedom. Mostly it just felt like motion, endless forward without arriving anywhere." Quiet settled between us. "What made you build something so big?" "Someone told me I was too young to do it right. I needed to prove them wrong." "Did you?" "Yes." "Was it worth it?" "I was satisfied," I said carefully. "That's not the same as happy." Something shifted in my chest. Quiet. Permanent. "No, it isn't." She gave the real smile then, full, warm, unguarded. "Enjoy your breakfast, Ethan." She said my name like she was trying it on, deciding it fit. Then she left. Almost disbelieving, I didn't touch my laptop for 22 minutes. Unheard of. I sat staring at the orchid she'd straightened, thinking about nothing and everything at once. Her? Legos? Both? They were starting to feel like the same thing.
Last night in the city, music drifted up from the rooftop. Staff birthday thing, informal, laughter leaking down. I followed the sound without thinking. She was there, fully herself, no uniform, no role, laughing with her whole body, head thrown back, people naturally pulling toward her like she was gravity. She spotted me across the crowd. No big wave, just a look I couldn't quite read, then a small smile before turning back to her friends. I got a drink, stayed 2 hours. Told myself I was just enjoying the view. Lagos knew I was lying. Later, when most people had drifted off, she came and stood beside me at the railing. Below us, the city glittered, lights scattered like spilled jewels, the Atlantic dark and endless in the distance. "You stayed." "I was in the neighborhood." "You're always in the neighborhood when I'm around." "Amara, don't." I stopped. "You leave tomorrow." "Yes." "You have a whole life waiting there." "Yes." "And this," she gestured loosely between us, down at the humming city, "this has been a very nice 4 days." "I'm not saying it's nothing," she said quietly. "I'm saying I know what it is." "What is it?" "Something real that just lives here." The ache hit like missing a step, reached for but a second too late. I went back to my room, sat on the edge of the bed for a long time. Dry, quiet. I'm not a man who sits on edges of beds. Flight in a few hours, company waiting. Life that ran like clockwork and needed me back in it. Soft. I sat anyway. Thought about a woman who fell asleep unbothered in traffic, laughed fully, said something real like it was obvious. I lay down eventually. Quietly. Car coming at 10. She knocked at 7. Tray set perfectly. Coffee black, no sugar. I'd never said it outright. She just knew. She moved to leave. Amara. She turned. Thank you for Lagos. Lagos did most of the work. You showed me where to look. Something complete passed between us, understood, accepted. She nodded once, peaceful. Warm, final. Safe travels, Ethan. Amara. Everything I wanted to say would have required a different version of my life, one I hadn't built. She waited, patient, warm, entirely herself. Quietly, take care of yourself. Even quieter, almost a breath. Always. Door closed. I stood in the middle of the room, orchids still perfect, coffee steaming, Lagos outside the window, indifferent and alive. I picked up my bag. I left. Told myself in the elevator it was fine. In the car, fine. On the plane over the Atlantic, fine. None of it was true.
JFK hit like a gray noise, loud, vertical, exactly as I'd left it. First morning home, reached for phone before eyes fully opened. Emails, notifications, world demanding. Lay there staring at white ceiling. Thought of a wobbly table, chalkboard menu, suya heat blooming on my tongue. Went to work, boardroom, 38th floor, performed perfectly. Someone asked about Lagos. I answered smoothly, correctly. Then I looked out at Manhattan, gray, rushing, certain. Thought of narrow market aisles, hidden mural, her full laugh, head on shoulder in traffic, rooftop glitter. Something real that just lives here. My name was called. I snapped back. The meeting rolled on. But there's this draft now in my chest. Not pain exactly, more like a door left ajar. I walked away from it. I still feel the air coming through. Every day. I still have her number. Haven't called. Some nights I sit by the window in this city I built my life around and think about the woman who brought breakfast, pointed out toothpaste on my shirt, fell asleep on my shoulder without apology, and let me walk away without making it harder. She always knew what it was. I was the last to understand. And by then, I was already airborne.